posible con toda la información que tenemos para hacer estas decisiones y los negocios van a tener que hacer su parte, pero a lo último del día todos individualmente vamos a tener que tomar una responsabilidad y de cuidarnos unos a los otros. De nuevo, podemos hacer todas las regulaciones, enforzar todo, pero el pueblo, nuestros vecinos, nuestras familias, nuestros amigos tienen que hacer su parte, haciendo lo que se le ha pedido hasta ahora, distancia social, mantener la distancia social, las máscaras, limpiarse las manos constantemente. Si hacemos esas cosas, como acaba de decir el alcalde Suárez, vamos a ir al próximo paso. Si no hacemos esas cosas, podemos regresar al pasado y de verdad que no sé, y lo digo yo personalmente, si vamos para atrás, no sé cómo vamos a pararnos de nuevo. Así que esto es un día muy, muy importante para todos nosotros, pero los ciudadanos tienen que entender que todos tenemos nuestro pedacito de tierra de echar aquí para echar para adelante.
Thank you very much, Mayors. Now we're going to the Q&A section. We're going to start with Steve Litz. Steve?
Yes, hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, Steve.
Yes, Steve, thanks.
Thank you very much. I'm just wondering, with respect, and if any of the mayors can chime in, but with respect to an influx, with respect to a unexpected crowds, can one of you talk about the possibility of that? Have you given that some thought? And especially coming up this Memorial Day weekend.
Mayor Gilbert, you want to take that one?
Yeah.
I'll start. We all get crowds. I mean, our city is, I always think of it as almost a gathering-based economy. So obviously we're concerned about it. And we saw what happened in early March with spring break crowds and other events when we didn't even know there was virus in the community because there was no tests telling us that. We're concerned about it. And of course in an open promenade like Lincoln Road or Ocean Drive or in Wynwood or in other places where there are just open promenades, it's hard to control. We're not like Disney World where we have a way to stop people from coming in at a certain capacity or even or any venue that can do that. So I worry about that. I think there'll be an element, hopefully, of the businesses as well as residents exercising, concern when they see that. But if we have to do something like close something down or limit the times that it's open or something like that, we will, because we can't allow, it's not really, there's a lot of clarity in our decision making in a sense that if we see a return of dangerous and perilous situations, we'll have to do something to stop it because we obviously can't let it continue. But our hope is that people will abide and guide themselves that way. But if they don't, we'll try to help the situation by limiting access or the times that places are open.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, do you have, certainly Memorial Day is famous down here. Do you have the expectation that it could turn into thousands of kids?
Well, our beaches at this point, and I hope it remains this way, are not open. So that's the number one magnet for our city when it comes to the large crowds on Ocean and elsewhere. And so I don't think that is going to be an issue. Our hotels are not open either, so that's going to limit it. And there's a lot of capacity issues that we are, but could there be crowds? Absolutely. Are we worried about it? Absolutely. But are we going to not do anything? No. We will do what we need to if those crowds come up regularly to stop it, because it's just not a good thing to have in a pandemic.
Stephen, I'll just say briefly that one of the reasons why we coordinated as cities was because we saw what happened when the county opened up parks and marinas, and 3 of the 4 cities on this call didn't, and it created a huge rush on Miami Beach. So what we understand is that we're interconnected. And so we wanted to do things at the same time to relieve the pressure from any one individual city. Like you said, Miami Beach already has to deal with a tremendous amount of influx of people from the outside. We don't want to necessarily be pushing people from internally from our own cities into other cities. So that was another reason why we wanted to coordinate the dates so that that all lined up.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, Steve, I would just, hold on. Steve, I would just add to that just for a second. First, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm here at a food drive in Miami Gardens at the Omega Center with the mighty men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity and Commissioner Barbara Jordan, because there's still other needs in the community that we're going to be doing these things at the same time that we're actually managing these reopenings. And we can't forget there are those among us who actually are looking for food. and they're not worried about shopping. They're worried about eating and where their next meal is going to come from, where they're going to be able to pay their rent. And so that's also worth noting. But let me just say, it was appropriate for Dan and Miami Beach to respond to that, but it is not just his problem. Normally on spring break and Memorial Day, it's people from other places who come here. Our hotels will probably be empty and people aren't just flying into the airport. If we overrun Miami Beach and the restaurants there and that area, it's going to be people from this community, placing people from this community in peril. And so it's my responsibility, it's Carlos' responsibility, it's Francis' responsibility, it's every mayor and every elected leader's responsibility in this county to remind people, our residents, that we have to exist in a way that allows us to actually exist and be safe and be healthy. And we take that seriously. And that is one of the reasons why we're coordinating, because his problem, his restaurants and his promenades, and the fact that they are an attraction for people isn't just his problem. It's all of our problem. And in the same way that it helps all of us when it's drawing people here and it's generating jobs and revenue and helping sustain this community. We all have our parts to play, and we have to do that appropriately.
Thanks, Oliver.
Thank you. Now we go
Thank
with
you all.
Martin Basola from Miami Herald.
Hey guys, how are you? I had a question for Mayors Gelber and Suarez. What are restaurants going to look at today in terms of the enforcement? Will there be code in particular places, maybe police in certain parks or Ventanita, stuff like that? If you could give us some insight on that.
So we have restaurants opening in a week from today, so they won't be opening today. They're in what Miami Beach calls 1B. We had actually, our original plan had restaurants opening in phase 2, but based on our discussions with Miami Beach, with Hialeah and with Miami Gardens, we thought it was prudent to do it at the same time. And, so we're promulgating the rules, and they'll be up on our website as well for 1B, which will be a week from today.
We will. Go ahead, Carlos.
Martin, I was going to say, and a lot of people have asked why the major cities have decided to put the restaurants a week after, not the county. If you look at all the regulations that are there, and we receive this thing on Thursday or Friday, there's no way most of these businesses will be ready to do everything correctly to be a safe place to go in. That was one of the reasons why we extended, we decided to extend that extra week for restaurants to give them that opportunity, because there are a lot of regulations for those restaurants, and they'll have extra time to be there and be ready next Wednesday.
If I could clarify, I misspoke, not restaurants, but what's enforcement and compliance going to look like for retail in the places that are open today?
So for us, go ahead, Mayor Gelber.
You go.
Because for us, it's we have a group of ambassadors that are going to be going out. Our objective is to educate, particularly in the first few days. As Mayor Hernandez just said, we were given a book of 185 pages of rules on late Thursday that was approved by the governor. So we've had to sift through that, create our own, websites and our own information, which I commend our administration, our communications and IT department for getting it all up, turning it around quickly. But we want to go on an information campaign initially. We're going to have those ambassadors are going to report to police, fire, and code, and we'll escalate if needed. We obviously, like Mayor Gelber said, we're hoping and expecting our residents to sort of self-police us to a large extent. But we also, when Mayor Gelber led in requiring masks at grocery stores and at pharmacies and at banks, and we followed shortly thereafter, our objective always was that if the businesses did not comply, that we would potentially shut them down. And so that's something that we also have as a tool in our toolbox.
Yeah, we, Martin, look, in our city, we already have the website up that tells what the rules are and what the recommendations are, so people know the difference. We have at least 50 people who are going out and have been going out over the last week, or certainly over the last 3 or 4 days, to our retail establishments and our restaurants, because we have 800 of them. And to your question, we only have 10 days to get them ready. And the other thing, though, is I created, and I know my colleagues have done similar things in their communities. The business community is really working for this. They are very sensitive to the fact that if people don't show up because they're scared, they're not going to shop and they're not going to spend money, and this whole experiment doesn't work. So they're doing a lot themselves. I have a lot of faith in the ingenuity of our business community to make sure that things look and are safe. And I will say, by the way, that there's some excitement and some trepidation, but because of the tension between the goals of opening and exercising physical distance, That said, we're not looking to, and I think like Mayor Suarez, we're not. I mean, we're trying to help before we're trying to close down. We're not. No one's going to look to rack up a bunch of gotchas on people. We're going to try to help them get to the point where they want to be, because we have the same intention, which is the last thing they want is to be known as a place that's dangerous to visit. And so we're going to help them the best we can and give them guidance. If necessary, we'll take action, but hopefully that's going to be the last resort and not the first resort.
From TBS4.
Hi there, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Hey everybody, good morning. I wanted to ask, as far as restaurants go next week, what can people expect? Will restaurants be allowed to use part of the sidewalks, parts of the street to expand their capacity?
Thank you, Brooke. A few things about restaurants. One is we're going to follow the state of Florida, which allows for 50% occupancy internally. But our city commission, and I commend them, all our commissioners had different ideas about how to expand outdoor capacity, including the use of sidewalks and the use of parking spaces. And so that's something that our city manager is now empowered to do, which is to find out how we can increase outdoor seating capacity so that we can get our restaurateurs as close to 100%, their regular 100%, respecting all of the distancing rules that we have in place.
That's the same thing we're doing in Hialeah. I'll jump in right and quickly. That's exactly what we're doing in Hialeah also.
Yeah, we have Ocean Drive is already open for that purpose. It's fully pedestrianized. I think we've got a close to a dozen, but 7 or 8 already approved, including Washington Avenue. But we're putting in play streets and ways all over the city because, look, restaurant business is a tough business. We all know that. And people do it more out of love than for money. And it's hard in the best environment to do well. Restaurants fail all the time, even in the best of economies. So we try to give them the ability to succeed without impairing the healthcare directives. And the way to do that, we think, like my colleagues, is to open up outdoor seating areas so that people can be stretched, they can be stretched out away from one another, and it's also safer, obviously, outside than it is inside with the circulating air. So we're going to do that as much as we can, obviously mindful of traffic issues, but I think we're going to probably end up doing it with at least a dozen, maybe 2 dozen.
Yeah, in Miami Gardens, we're still working through that. When it's going to be open, and also what the requirements are going to be. One of the things I noticed that we're substantially different. All of the economic development that we've created in Miami Gardens over the past 8 years has been basically, the restaurants have been created on major commercial corridors. So we have less flexibility to close down, for instance, University Drive or 27th Avenue, 183rd Street to 441. But we're going to do our best to work with our businesses to actually make sure we try to put regulations in place that keep people safe, but also allow for them to make money.
Thank you, mayors. Now we're going with Maria Alesia Sosa.
Hi, how are you, mayors? My question is specifically for Mayor Suarez. Well, my colleague from the Herald already spoke about the enforcement, and he already asked about it, but I would like you guys to respond in Spanish if you could. And specifically because like 2 days ago, I saw this beauty salon open in city of Miami. So I would like to know more about what would be the consequences for this kind of businesses that are not complying with the law. And Mayor Suarez, you just said escalating, but are there fines? Are there, I don't know, like, could you specify more about that? And if you could answer in Spanish, I just ask in English for respect for the others, but could you answer in Spanish? Thank you.
Nosotros tenemos una docena de embajadores que van a salir a las calles para educar a los comerciantes y a los residentes de la ciudad de Miami, entendiendo que, como dijo el alcalde Hernández, recibimos estas reglas muy tarde el jueves, con no mucho tiempo para empezar esta campaña de educar a los residentes nuestros. Una razón por cual decidimos empezar un poco más tarde que el condado de Miami-Dade, empezar este miércoles. Si un negocio no está cumpliendo con las normas y las reglas, nosotros tenemos la habilidad de cerrar ese negocio utilizando los oficiales de comportamiento de código y cumplimiento de código y utilizando el departamento de policía. Eso es algo que queremos evitar, pero si los comerciantes no están utilizando, no están siguiendo las reglas, eso es una consecuencia de esa falta de tomar esa decisión. Los residentes, si están violando la ley, tenemos también la habilidad, obviamente, algo que deseamos no hacer, de arrestarlo. Y si lo arrestamos, se pueden multar, es un delito menor en cual pueden encarcelarse y pueden recibir una multa. Así que, de nuevo, nosotros queremos evitar esas circunstancias, esos enfrentamientos, y nuestro propósito ahora va a ser educar a los residentes y a los mercantes para asegurar que todo el mundo está cumpliendo y podemos avanzar a una segunda fase.
Bien, una última cosita, alcalde Suárez, ¿qué ha pasado con la ayuda de su plan de para renta? Ya empezaron a repartir cheques y para los negocios hemos recibido personas que nos dicen que no han recibido nada.
Todavía estamos en la última fase de comprobando todos los documentos necesarios para empezar la distribución de los fondos, y si Dios quiere vamos a poder anunciar en algunos días el hecho de que hemos empezado a repartir los fondos de ayuda a la renta y también de ayuda a los negocios. No sé si el alcalde Hernández quiere agregar algo.
Viste bien claro, Francis. De nuevo aquí, quiero, y lo dijo el alcalde Gilbert también, creo que los negocios tienen tanto también para ellos que quieren hacer todo correcto, por lo menos que ellos quieren que vaya una persona y no se sienta bien o que vea algo que les peligra. Así que yo creo que lo importante es educar a estos negociantes, porque a veces todavía necesitan un poco de educación, pero creo que la parte de esfuerzo va a ser algo muy atrás y va a ser pocos negocios que no quieran hacer lo correcto, porque al último del día, de nuevo, esos negocios tienen el mismo interés que nosotros, que las personas entren y se sientan bien. Así que, y también va a ser una responsabilidad de esos clientes de hacer las cosas correctas también y hacer las cosas que le estamos pidiendo.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we go with Ana Cuervo from Telemundo 51.
Good morning, mayors. I'm going to ask the question in English, but I would like the response in Spanish, of course, for our viewers. Do you expect to be working in the next phases together as cities? For example, for the next openings, a lot of gyms are very eager to know when they will open. And specifically in the city of Miami, the nightclubs that were open very successfully until we were hit with this pandemic. When do you think that might happen as far as nightclubs, concert halls, that type of nighttime venue? When do you expect that might possibly happen? I'm not hearing them.
Yo espero coordinar con las ciudades, con los alcaldes que tenemos en esta reunión, porque lo hemos hecho de una forma exitosa, ha sido fácil. Nosotros hablamos alrededor de 1 o 2 veces al día. Estamos continuamente comunicando los órdenes, compartiendo los órdenes, discutiendo diferentes aspectos de lo que vamos a hacer. Así que de mi punto de vista esto está funcionando bastante bien. Así que yo deseo continuarlo en la segunda fase y la tercera. Si de una forma nos ajuntamos al condado, mejor todavía. Nosotros no deseamos de ninguna forma estar en desigualdad con el condado, pero vamos a tomar las decisiones que nosotros pensamos que es lo mejor para nosotros, y desafortunadamente yo puedo hablar por mí, no estamos recibiendo ninguna comunicación del condado, así que es muy difícil coordinar con una agencia que no está comunicando con uno. Con respecto a las barras y a las congregaciones de las discotecas, eso lo tenemos en la fase número 3, pero sin duda vamos a discutirlo con los alcaldes, el alcalde Hernández y Gilbert, porque impacta a esas ciudades. Así que parte de la razón por la cual estamos en esta conferencia en conjunto es porque sabemos que las decisiones que tomamos en Miami afectan a Hialeah, a Miami Gardens y a la playa.
You're muted, Ana.
Ana, you're muted.
La fase número 3, entonces, está mirando números para entonces cuándo, ¿no? O sea, como
Eso sería, si todo va bien, eso sería en 28 días, en un mes de ahora. Pero obviamente tenemos que analizar eso porque hemos hecho cambios. Por ejemplo, nosotros teníamos los restaurantes en la fase número 2, pero a base de las discusiones con ambas ciudades, decidimos avanzarlo un poquito desde 2 semanas, desde este lunes hasta el miércoles que viene.
Gracias.
Thank you. Now we go with Juan Camilo Gómez from Actualidad 1020.
Gracias, alcaldes. La pregunta para todos, pero la respuesta ojalá en español de parte del alcalde Francis Suárez. Hemos visto en varios lugares que después de que se hacen estas reaperturas, se ve en ocasiones un aumento de los contagios. Las ciudades, las 4 ciudades, ¿tienen algún plan de contingencia conjunto en caso de que tengan que recular, que echarse para atrás, que volver a cerrar?
Juan Camilo, estamos analizando las cifras todos los días. Inclusive ayer tuvimos una discusión con el Departamento de Salud, los alcaldes que están en esta llamada, y obviamente estamos preocupados. Hemos visto en diferentes partes de los Estados Unidos la realidad de que cuando hay una reapertura, en muchos casos se empiezan a regresar el aumento de casos. Así que estamos preocupados, por eso estamos continuamente en la prensa tratando de mandar un mensaje a nuestros residentes que tienen que ser disciplinados, que tienen que tomar el paso de responsabilidad y que si tomamos eso conjunto con las reglas que hemos implementado, tenemos una mayor confianza de que podemos continuar avanzando en vez de regresar e ir atrás.
Alcalde Hernández, ¿quiere responder?
No, de nuevo, creo que esto es algo que estamos día a día y por eso estas reuniones continúan casi día a día, porque estamos caminando pasos que nunca hemos caminado, así que todo depende de qué pasa mañana, qué pasa el próximo día, para nosotros tomar las decisiones que hay que tomar. Ahora, lo importante es continuar esta comunicación constante para estar seguros que nos movemos unidos y hacer las mejores decisiones que se pueden hacer.
Thank you very much to everyone. Does any reporter have an extra question?
Sí, yo tengo una pregunta que se me olvidó. Las piscinas y lugares de esparcimiento dentro de condominios entran en esta fase.
Nosotros estamos esperando para el condado y el estado de la Florida para darnos la habilidad de abrir los condominios, pero también estamos haciendo un análisis legal interno para ver si es legal el dictamen del condado previniendo a que la gente se puede utilizar a las piscinas en los condominios porque es propiedad privada. Así que como nosotros no pensamos que el condado tiene, por ejemplo, la habilidad de decir a un individual que no pueden utilizar su propia piscina, no tienen esa potestad bajo la ley. Estamos analizando si ellos tienen la potestad de decirle a los dueños de condominio que también es propiedad privada, que no pueden utilizar esos espacios públicos.
Gracias.
Well, thank you very much to all of you for participating in this virtual press conference.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Mayor Hernandez.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.